Prepare yourself for confessions that will leave you speechless. Story 1. I lied to my family about winning the lottery just to get the last laugh. I have a very complex relationship with my siblings and mother. My relationship with them was already weak, but I wrote them off after I found that my mother had been funneling money that I gave her to my siblings, and that my mother helped them with things that she wouldn't help me out, i.e. buying house, college tuition, etc. I hadn't spoken to my mother in a year, and the last email that I sent to her was 6 months ago. She had no idea if I was dead or alive, and doesn't seem to care. So I emailed her to say I was going to move to Hawaii and fundamentally retire, because I had won the lottery. I wasn't gloating about winning the lottery. No, I was just telling her she wouldn't be hearing from me and not to worry. All of a sudden she calls me and emails me. She says she loves me and wishes she had been a better mother, and my siblings are all assholes. Then my siblings tried reaching out to say that they miss me and would love a relationship and would love for me to meet all of my nephews. Can we get lunch? I blew them off by saying that I'm busy with real estate people, lawyers, accountants, and all these people that I need to manage my winnings. It's not like I won $20 from a scratch-off ticket. It's about 70 million. It's just fun to watch them kiss my ass. I'm planning on ghosting them and resuming our estrangement. I just want to even the score and get the last laugh. I won't even tell them the truth. Just let them think that they lost a chance to get a free ride on me. Story 2. I snapped my leg in half during a gamer rage incident. I play Tekken, and if there's one thing you need to know about it, is that it is the most frustrating game of all time. Anyway, I was doing very bad, and as I often do when this happens, I start tweaking. First, I start swearing under my breath, then screaming, then I'll beat the shit out of my thigh, and as this is happening, I'm losing my ability to see attacks, and I just mash and get more and more angry. Eventually, I play someone who is trolling me with very annoying cheesy character, and the guy keeps teabagging and he beats me. Cool. I rematch him, and he does the same shit, but I lose, and there is one hit in it. So I launch my controller at the floor and do a running punt kick to my wardrobe, and I smash straight through it, and instantly my body goes ice cold and I fall on my ass. I snapped my tibia and fibula clean in half. I've told everyone I came off of my bike on a hill near where I live. Seriously reconsidering what choices I have made that have led me to this position. Fuck. Story 3. I'm gonna delete this later. I am losing weight rapidly. I've always been underweight my whole life and didn't think it could go any lower. But here I am. My mother keeps telling me to eat. She's telling everyone to tell me to eat. But I'm not hungry. If I'm hungry, I eat, but if I'm not, I don't. But she will not stop asking me to eat, and it's really stressing me out because I'm just not hungry. I'm worried about a lot of things, but I've never thought I was fat or anything. So it's not that I'm trying to get skinny or anything. I'm just sick of not being left alone because of the fact that I'm not hungry. IDK, guess I just needed to let someone know. Story 4. Delusions caused me to do things I regret. I've had what I think is paranoia follow me my entire life since I can remember, and it's hell. It's a feeling that may come from other mental health issues, but I don't know which. It usually causes me to do small things that I've convinced myself can take away the feelings of doom impending to myself, or prevent horrible events from happening to my loved ones, which never do. But the things I need to do get sometimes dangerous. One time, I carved a protective rune into my skin with a sharp knife because I thought it would spiritually protect me somehow. It didn't. I still have the scar, and I regret it. Sometimes it feels like living in my body is a hell. I need help. Story 5. I didn't show up to a final job interview after I found out who my boss would be. I applied for a job as an accountant and went through several interviews with this one firm. It's a pretty big firm. I had a final interview with the person who would be my boss, and the name sounded familiar. I looked them up, and it was a former student of mine named Nick. I had taught high school for 10 years between 2003 and 2013. Then I became a principal for 2 years before switching careers to become a CPA. I remembered Nick from my first year of teaching because I failed him. I thought it was weird that neither his mom nor dad said anything. Then I found out he was a foster kid, so I changed his grade out of pity. The last time I saw him was before graduation, when I overheard him saying that he was skipping the grad ceremony because he didn't want to be embarrassed that no one would show up for him. I don't know how his life turned out. Granted, he has all these letters after his name, JD, MPA, etc., but that doesn't equate to happiness. I just felt awkward about the connection, so I didn't show up to the interview. I just said that my current employer offered me more money and flexibility. 6. I lied to my mom to buy me a gaming PC just to play Minecraft, then quit a week later. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I was a huge fan of offline TV. Not so much now, but back then I used to watch their streams and highlight every day to not miss anything. I was still in high school at that time, and they had just started their modded Minecraft playthrough. I saw how much fun they were having and wanted to play the same mod pack too. Unfortunately, my laptop at home at that time was nowhere near powerful enough to handle even the normal unmodded Minecraft. It was near the time that I would have graduated high school, so I asked my mom to buy me a good PC in the excuse that I'll use it for university, since I was planning to study civil engineering, and lied that I need it for renders and stuffs. Fast forward a week, and she bought me a pretty good PC at that time, with a Ryzen 362070. It was a huge sum of cash for us, but she bought it for me. I downloaded the mod pack, played for a week, found out it wasn't as fun without friends to interact with, then just used the PC to play League of Legends. As for university works, I barely did anything that required heavy computing anyway, just some CAD works. I am now studying abroad in Japan, and left the PC at home because I couldn't bring it with me. One good thing is that the PC isn't unused. My sister uses it to play Valorant. I guess sinning just runs in our blood. Looking back, I feel kinda shitty that I lied to my mom. I'm trying to support my parents as much as I can now, but I still haven't told mom about this. Story 7. I found out my friend's BFDM'd me and now I DK what to do. It's all just one huge mess and honestly, I have no idea what to do. She and this guy have been going out for, like, a year now. They always seem super happy, always posting cute pics and all that. We are not super close, but we run in the same friend group, and he is always pretty chill. Until last night. So, I was just scrolling through my Insta DMs, and some random account request comes up. I click it, and well, it's him. So I'm thinking, probably, he wanted to plan on something sweet for her. You know, surprise her or ask about gift ideas or something. Nope. Dude goes straight out hitting me with a, "Buto?" Like, seriously? At first, I thought he was just joking. He went further to say that if I'd ever thought of him that way, he's always thought I'm hot, but didn't want to mess things up. LMAO. I left him on read and literally stared at my phone for an hour. Do I say anything to her or just act like it never happened? The only thing is, if I do, it's gonna blow everything up, but then if I don't, it's like I'm somehow betraying her now. And the honest truth is, I really feel she would never believe me, because she is just so in love with him, he's perfect to her. I haven't replied yet, and each time now seeing them together is, well, it is just awkward. I don't know, it is driving me crazy, really. What would you do? Story 8. Cheater. Am I a really awful person? Should I confess? I will never excuse cheating, okay? I, F18, myself have been cheated on numerous times, including once early on in my relationship by my current boyfriend, M18. I am in college, and my first semester I spent away at an out-of-college school. My boyfriend and I were doing long distance. I was a part of a sorority, got heavy into drinking, became/learned I am likely an alcoholic like most of my family, and partied a low T. It was Hollow weekend, but at my school it's more like Hello 2 weeks. Parties every day. I am not even sure what day it was or how close to actual Halloween it was. I was extremely drunk on a multiple-day drinking bender. And at this specific party I was at, I had drank a whole lot of vodka straight from the large bottle I was sharing with a friend. During the party, some drama happened with my friends. Story for another time. So my friend group, who were less drunk than me to an extent, they could actually walk, left me in the supervision of an acquaintance of ours. For some reason, that friend walked away for a minute or turned their back, and next thing I know, I ran away like a child to the main dance floor. I was previously sat at a table. I remember dancing and chatting with a friendly guy who was gay, talking about our sexualities together, and me mentioning how I wanted to make out with someone, but I had a long-distance boyfriend, and he said, "You do you, boo." So that's exactly what I did. There was a random who drunk me thought was cute, definitely not cute, guy flirting with a girl next to me, so I grabbed onto him because I was drunk and was struggling to stand straight, and simply said, "Kiss me," and he said, "Right now?" And I said, "Kiss me." So he did. It was great. I was drunk, at a party, hadn't had a kiss in a while, long distance, and I was just obsessed with this man. So we ended up making out for a bit and exchanging Instagrams. We never had sex or anything more than making out. And I would like to clarify, this was not rape. I don't know how drunk/if he even was, but I did initiate it and consented, and it went no further than a kiss. So I know it was all me, or at least drunk physically alone me. I woke up the next morning, hungover, couldn't remember the night before, but had this memory of this vivid dream, and I told my roommate about it, who then asked the acquaintance babysitting me. That acquaintance confirmed it to be true, and I just felt awful. I was guilty about it. I went through all the emotions. I remember admitting that morning, still honestly slightly drunk, slightly hungover, that I kissed him because in the moment, that guy reminded me of my ex. I went to Instagram, saw the request for a follow from that guy, and immediately wanted to puke because how and why did I cheat on my handsome, amazing, sweet, loving man that I had been with over a year at that point? The guy wasn't even attractive. Not an excuse to cheat, I know, but that was my thought process. I haven't had alcohol since. I had a separate, awful experience at college that made me move home and attend a local city college. I've been completely honest with my boyfriend about everything in my life except this. I confided in my college friends, who at the time I thought were friends, but now I realize they used me for my access to party supplies and sorority status. They all said I should take this to my grave, because outside of cheating, I have been a perfectly fine girlfriend, and I don't want to mess up a year and some change-long relationship over one party makeout sesh. But honestly, in my opinion, a makeout isn't any better, possibly worse than sex. Yugji. And I especially feel bad because during the very, very early beginning of our relationship, when my boyfriend drunkenly cheated on me, he confessed that night, told me straight away, but I didn't tell him. Even 3 months later, he has no clue. I mean, I've done other awful things while drunk. I think he wouldn't be surprised to find out about the time I cheated, but he really is my rock and the only person I can truly trust and lean on, so I was too scared to tell him. I do not think about it often anymore because I have so much on my plate and have much worse in life that I have experienced. And right now, ever since I stopped drinking partying hardcore, my relationship has gone back to be amazing. Honestly, great. I absolutely love this man. Also to clarify, I immediately declined the guy's follow and pretended it never happened. Did not talk to him or see him ever again after that makeout. But every now and again, I debate. Should I tell him? Take it to my grave? What would happen if I told him? Am I an awful person for this? Story 9. Dating an extrovert as an introvert. I'm a 19F, and I've been dating this amazing guy, 20M, for about 6 months now. He's everything I could want in a partner. Funny, kind, and super caring. But here's the catch. He's an extrovert, and I'm an introvert. When we first met, I honestly didn't think our personalities would be much of an issue. I mean, opposites attract, right? And at first, it was exciting. He would drag me out to parties or introduce me to his huge group of friends. And I'd go along because I liked spending time with him. But the more we hang out, the more I'm realizing just how different we are. I enjoy having quiet nights in, reading, or watching movies, while he's always planning the next group outing or trying to get me to go out and be social. He's super social, like constantly talking to people, making new friends, and having deep combos with just about anyone. I, on the other hand, find myself drained after long social interactions and need a lot of alone time to recharge. It's not that I don't like hanging out with him or his friends, but it's honestly exhausting sometimes. I feel like I'm always pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and I'm starting to feel conflicted about it. I get this guilt whenever he suggests we go out because I know he just wants me to have fun with him, but I can't help but feel overwhelmed and like I'm not being true to myself. He's so understanding, which I really appreciate, and has never pressured me, but I still feel torn. I don't want him to think I'm boring or that I don't enjoy spending time with him. Story 10. I have feelings for someone who's married. I'm not sure how it even happened, but since the day I laid eyes on them, I've felt something overwhelmingly intense. It's like my heart is beating out of my chest, and I'm not even sure why. At first, I did my best to avoid any and all interaction with them. I've kept everything to a minimum now. I also never knew they were married until a month or so into the job. Fast forward to the past few months, and they've been very conversational with me now. I've been scheduled with them a lot, and it's not like I can exactly avoid them anyway. They definitely make a point to acknowledge me, either saying hello to me or my name as we pass each other by. No big deal, right? Except they don't do that with much anyone else. Living, like making a point to speak to them. We're all sick perverts at my job, so I didn't take any of what was said to me as flirting until I confined in 2 close people. I was taking a few extra seconds to prepare something for a procedure, and they said to someone else in the room that I make you wait for it. It was hilarious. I almost pissed myself laughing. But then a few days later, they said it to me again as I was helping them prep something. They stared me dead in the eyes as I slid a cover over a probe they were holding. I was flushed for sure. It's also been said after that too. Another instance where they asked me twice within a few hours what I was doing that weekend. I didn't think anything of it till my friend pointed it out. They also asked me to watch something so that we can have something to talk about. Recently said this again regarding a movie coming out for the same reason. To have something to talk about. A few weeks ago, I was getting ready for a procedure and they tied my gown up. After I said thanks, they jokingly said they'd been waiting all day to tie me up. Jokingly, although the tie me up part was very sexually delivered. I have a few more instances, but I think you get the gist of things. It's getting bad, and I'm constantly yearning for someone that's not available. Everyone says that he's very unhappy in his life and that his wife is a bitch. She's very unkind to him. Not that it justifies anything, but if he were to initiate anything, I don't know if I'd be able to resist. The tension between us is intense. I feel guilty even though I've not done anything wrong quite yet. I wish I could just quit my job, but I can't uproot my entire life. This feeling sucks, and I hate myself for it. Story 11. I have a crush on my teacher. This is just a delusional rant. I, 19F, have a crush on my TA workshop overseer, M, early 20s. I think he's really cute, he's very smart and funny, and seems like he's so put together with life. On the first day of class, I had to interrupt the past class. Some people were talking to another professor, and our class was waiting out in the hallway past the 15-minute block between classes at my college. And the TA, Alejandro, said he liked how I took charge. I'm probably overthinking it, NGL, and later during the class he helped me with a couple questions without me asking for help. On the last class, when Alejandro was lecturing, I caught him keep on glancing over, but I was too embarrassed to really look back, so I wasn't really sure / if he really did, TBH. But after class, one was confused still with the work, so I went to the tutoring center with a friend, and 10 minutes later, Alejandro's father walked in because I forgot he helps at the tutoring center after the class. We waved and said hi, and he actually seemed to be really happy that I was there / recognized me. And when he was helping overs, I caught him glancing over again. It's the delusions, I swear, LMAO. But then when I left, he waved again. Hee 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 hee. I already told my mom about him, so yeah, skull. Story 12. I routinely crap in an old neighbor's trash bin. For the last few years, my neighbor and I have had disputes. But they argue with everyone. The way our houses are arranged makes it easy to access their trash bin unseen, and I am certain they don't have cameras. They're old and dumb. Plus, I worked in IT and would know how to spot them. I sneak out of my house in the late hours, put on a shiesty and gloves, open their bin, and take a big one. I specifically do this when I know it's going to stank like hell. Something I even hold it in until it's nice and baked for them. I've done this about a dozen times, and they're always furious. They will complain to the other neighbors and go on and on. I wait until they think they're safe and they've cleaned it out, then strike again. This is one of life's best pleasures. Edit. Thanks to y'all haters, best believe next time I'm dedicating it to you. Story 13. Laxative prank gone wrong. Last month it was my friend's birthday, and a week prior to that, he and a couple of my friends exposed me for my shit kink. I was devastated, filled with rage and desire to get revenge. Knowing his birthday was coming up, I was certain all of them would be in the same place, and I was correct. When we were chilling at the cafeteria eating lunch, he asked me if I wanted to come over to celebrate his birthday with all of the friend group. My eyes lit up, and a devious smirk formed on my face as I uttered the words, "Yes, I'll come over." My plan was to bring a cake ridden with laxatives so all of them would get a slice. It was preposterous, but it was just the thing I needed. Make them feel the pain of exposing my shit kink using feces itself. I brought the vanilla cake to the party and waited for the ignorant monkeys they are to consume at least one slice, which was packed with enough laxatives to guarantee the outcome I was looking for. They greeted me and made a daft remark about the whole shit kink situation, which I ignored, of course, since I knew that their short-sighted behavior will be punished by the dung rain about to begin. I didn't even put on my usual repertoire composed of fancier clothing, since I wouldn't want to get excrement on my garments. About 3 hours passed, and I noticed signs of the laxatives kicking in, so I locked the bathroom door and waited for chaos to ensue. But I was lacking, since I felt something wanting to come out of my anus. It can't possibly be, I said to myself, as I watched everyone laying on the floor shitting all over the wooden panels of the host. I wasn't enraged, not at all, since it's been known that I love myself a good scat sesh. But this was different. It hurt, each push causing a sharp pain in my anal cavity. Soon enough, the whole house was covered with feces, and the guests laying in it defeated. I've won, but at what cost? Story 14. Single and lonely on my 33rd birthday. Never had a real relationship, don't have much of a friend group, and have gone on a solo holiday to treat myself and potentially find someone abroad, to no avail. I can't help reminding myself that I'm getting older and still alone. I feel I have most of the other parts of my life worked out, but can't help thinking why this is the case. I've tried dating apps, going out and whatnot, but haven't even had the chance to have a fleeting one-night stand. At this point, I'm thinking to just get into sex work or something and put my asset to use. I'll probably bash myself silly otherwise. Story 15. I lied to a girl in strip club and now I don't know what to do. Throw away for the sake of anonymity. Atkins. Back in summer, my friend had a wedding, and a week before that we had a bachelor party for him. It was planned that at night we would go to the strip club, just to see what it's like, because almost no one in our friend group was there before. The friend didn't know about that plan, it was a surprise. But we told everything to his future wife before, and as long as nothing more than just watching happened, she was okay with that. I have a girlfriend too, and she was also fine with me going there, curious even, because we trust each other. So there we were, sitting in the club, looking around and drinking. All the waitresses were topless and very talkative. I guess that's the point of the club. One particular waitress sat beside me and started talking to me. Now, I have a habit to not tell my real name and other information about myself in sketchy situations, like when someone randomly asks me at the street or something, just in case. Just come up with some random bullshit, knowing full well that I won't meet this person ever again. So I did the same thing here. I lied about everything about me. Name, age, occupation, etc. For some reason, that girl kept talking to me about stuff, her struggles, and asking about me. She probably assumed I was single, which is a fair assumption, given the place we were in, and I personally didn't make that clear, which is probably my main mistake. I thought she was just trying to make me buy more drinks and stuff, until she asked for my contacts, because she wanted to continue speaking to me after we leave. I tried to lie something, but she already found my account in Telegram via People Near You function. Back then, it still existed. I didn't have my real name there, so she didn't suspect that I was lying. After we left, she kept writing me, calling me, and asking to meet her. I had to constantly come up with excuses why I couldn't meet her. She clearly wasn't in the right state of mind. She was constantly complaining about her life and talking about very private and depressing stuff in her life. She was never trying to get money from me or something, so that really felt genuine. I tried to make her stop doing that, saying that I really was sorry for her. But I was not a psychiatrist, and she should probably go to the proper doctor with this, since I was unable to help her. But each time I started talking about that, she was just freaking out and implying doing something to herself if I didn't listen to her, so I had to back down every time. I told everything about this situation to my girlfriend, because I felt that if I continue this chain of lies, that would be far worse. She was skeptical at first, but when I talked to this girl with my speaker on so my girlfriend could listen, she believed me and was equally confused on what to do about this situation. None of us wanted to be indirectly responsible for someone's life. Kept that facade for a few weeks, until I saw her sitting in the place I go for a dinner, close to my actual work. I freaked out and escaped the place, before she could see me, hopefully. I have no idea if that was a coincidence or if she actually tracked me down. Aries. After that, I decided that it can't go on like that anymore, and I wrote her that I lied to her about everything, because I didn't think she was talking to me yet because she was just a waitress in strip club, and I asked her not to contact me again, since I am in a relationship and I am not interested in her in any way. I once again told her that I genuinely feel sorry for her and that she needs to go to a specialist with that. I apologized for my lies again and then blocked her account and number. She haven't tried to contact me again, and I haven't seen her again also. I still think about it from time to time, and it still concerns me, whether she is okay or not, but I am too afraid to actually check for that. I tried Googling her name in search of any information but didn't find anything. I hope she is okay, but this shit still bothers me. Story 16. Fuck it. I enjoy arguing with strangers online. I know it's pointless and overall cringy, but I find it extremely entertaining. When I see an absurd comment I disagree with, I almost get a little buzz knowing I'm about to keyboard warrior a paragraph reply. I know a lot of it's rage bait or bots, but that's almost better because at least I'm not getting DM'd my full address. Plus, I'm an American, which means it's either this or pay $150 plus a therapy session to absolve the trauma that was being 19 to 22. It's to a point where I'm in too deep to worry about my digital footprint anymore. I just hope the guy doing my background check giggles at my tweets before denying my job application. At the end of the day, I'm not threatening anyone, calling them offensive names, or winning an argument by replying with someone's exact coordinates. Is it a new level of pointless? Absolutely. But am I ever going to scroll past a men's rights activist post without calling someone a crayon eater? No. I'm going to get banned from the subreddit for a fourth time. If you disagree with this, comments are open, you know what to do. Story 17. Finally pooped in a public restroom. I know I'm not the only one to struggle with this. I've always had a fear of pooping in a public restroom with other people around. I've went in public before, but never in a multi-stalled restroom before. And it's actually quite annoying as it has led me to have constipation from holding it when I'm not at home. I've tried to just force myself to do it before, but I could never have any luck with actually going because of the mental block I have. Today I was in Walmart, and I had the urge hit me really bad. I knew I wouldn't be able to wait, so I just decided to go and give it a try. I went in and thought I had lucked out because no one was in there. I sat down in the stall beside the handicap one and started to try to go. But just as I was about to, I heard someone come in. He ended up going in the handicap stall right beside me, and I was thinking, great, now I won't be able to go, as I heard the guy next to me settle down on the toilet. I heard a cough followed by sounds of shit hitting the toilet. As gross as this was, it actually caused me to go, and my mental block disappeared completely in that moment. That was all it took for me. Tears of joy. I almost wanted to thank the man afterwards for curing my phobia. I actually feel 10x better about being able to go now if I'm ever in public again. So thank you, random man who pooped in Walmart today. Story 18. I neglected my pet and I feel overwhelming guilt for it. This was a long time ago. I was in 8th grade and I had a hamster. She was a really sweet little dwarf hamster. I changed her water and food every day. I feel like I never took her out and played with her like I had previous pets. I feel like I hardly paid attention to her at all. At this time, I was at a horrible spot with my depression and anxiety. She ended up dying the day before my very first therapy session. I have almost no photos and videos of her. I regularly have nightmares about me where I have pet hamsters. In these dreams, I'm often abusing or mistreating them. I feel guilty that my subconscious even came up with this shit. R.I.P. baby, I'm sorry. Your life was short, and I should have given you a better one. Story 19. My mom thinks the way I drink things is weird, so ever since I could remember the way I would drink anything except water, would just suck it with a constant flow for several seconds before putting it down to catch my breath, and either put the drink down or continue. My mom says the way you're supposed to do it is to take a sip, let the flavor of whatever you're drinking set in your mouth, and then swallow. But I don't like how that feels. The way I do, I like, because the constant flow of flavor and texture over my tongue just makes me feel pleased, like I'm actually enjoying my drink, rather than taking slow, boring sips. Am I just weird, or has anybody else had a similar experience? Story 20. I threw a tampon at my crush and never got caught. When I, 28F, was 12, I had a crush on Johnny, who was a grade older than me. We became friends after we both got into jazz band, and I quickly developed feelings for him. Unsurprisingly, he did not feel the same way, but I still liked him, and we even considered each other best friends. After a while, he began to distance himself from me, since I was not well liked in school, because of mental health issues that weren't yet addressed. During a jazz band competition that year, our group was in an auditorium, awaiting our results of our performances. I don't remember how well we did in regards to our scores. That weekend, Johnny was being a douche about my lack of talent, and audibly wondering how I had managed to get into jazz band. No one stood up for me. In fact, they all agreed. I felt alone and angry. I wanted to get revenge, but I didn't want to get in trouble. I had gotten suspended about a month before this for pushing someone down in the hallway, and I knew I was on thin ice with the administration. That's when I remembered that I had a tampon in my bag. My period the Friday before, and I had brought products with me to avoid bleeding through my clothes. We all had to wear khaki pants for performances. Lucky me lol. When no one was looking, I took the tampon out of the wrapper, removed the actual tampon, and chucked the plastic part at Johnny. He didn't notice anything at first, but he soon noticed that something had been thrown around him. I saw that he had picked up the plastic applicator and had a confused look on his face. When other jazz band members saw, they all laughed at him, but it was clear that he had no idea what the hell the object was. No one would tell him what it was, as everyone was laughing too hard to even speak. He was embarrassed, and my plan had worked. A week later, Johnny said his mother had told him what it was, and everyone started laughing, reminding us all what had happened, since we had all forgotten. I hadn't. I never said anything to anyone in jazz band, or anyone in that school for that matter, that it had been me who threw it at him, and for all everyone else knew, it had just been laying on the floor, and he picked it up in public, caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. I haven't talked to Johnny since the last day of school that year, but I heard he is still a douchebag. However, I wish him well, and I wonder if he remembers me, and/or the tampon he found in middle school. Story 21. I sabotaged my friend's relationship because I didn't like being the third wheel. About a year ago, I, 19M, was part of a friend group of 5. 2 of my friends eventually developed feelings for each other and started dating. Unsurprisingly, hanging out with them became awkward and uncomfortable for the rest of us, especially for those of us who were either single or had partners outside the group. I missed the way things used to be, so I decided to take matters into my own hands. I subtly influenced their relationship by giving my female friend unrealistic expectations and pointing out minor red flags, making them seem more serious than they actually were. I also made sure she found out whenever her boyfriend interacted with other girls, but I never gave her the full context. On the other hand, when my male friend came to me for advice, I shared fabricated relationship experiences that highlighted flaws similar to his girlfriend's habits, making them seem like issues that would inevitably grow into bigger problems. Additionally, I gave them conflicting advice about how relationships should work, convincing each of them to believe in different ideals and suggesting they talk things out. Since they had very different romantic values and came from completely different backgrounds, it was easy to create conflict. Within 3 months, they broke up, and I got my friends back. They never realized their relationship fell apart because of me. The only downside was that we now had to hang out with them separately. Looking back, I realized what I did was wrong. I know that, as a friend, I should have wanted what was best for them. But at the time, I valued my own enjoyment of our group dynamic more. I regret my actions now because I realized we could have just spent time with them separately without having to break them up. Story 22. Saw my Geef's Insta search and this made me insecure. Here myself 21M and my GF is 20F. Both are classmates and have been in a relationship for almost 4 months. Here's what happened. Me and her usually take a walk around in campus daily for 2 hours. While doing that yesterday, I took her phone causally as she was using her phone, and I had taken my phone to see my profile, how it looks in her phone while searching. I just saw a senior Insta ID in the search. She took the phone from me and told I just wanted to unfollow him, so I had searched, she told, stuttering. I was like, okay, fine, no worries, but I had an insecurity. Later I became normal. While coming back on the way to boys' hostel, I opened up his profile as it was public. I could see his posts first. She hadn't unfollowed him and she had liked all the posts which he had posted from last 4 months. I was okay, no problem, and thought, sigh, she has not unfollowed yet. Then I went to play BGMI and played after the games around 12. I searched his account once again. The posts of all 4 months were unliked. I was surprised because till then I was fine, but this made me more insecure and I couldn't sleep all night. But we had mad more agreement that if anything is bothering by the way us we are sharing. I just told her that night. I texted that I am feeling insecure and I couldn't sleep and I am overthinking. I DK like that stuff. Next morning, we both are of same batch. IG, she got to know the idea this is the matter. She unfollowed him before postings around 10 a.m. Then she asked what happened, why are you sad? I tried to explain in chat between class and it was a bad idea, miscommunication. She got angry and she didn't speak with me till the class ends. Later I called her to lib so that we will sit and speak. I told like this, I am feeling I got doubt. Only BCZ of 3 reasons. 1. She stuttered while yelling at the first 2. Even it was searched, she haven't unfollowed him yet. 3. Did she unlike the posts between October to Jan and kept the remaining likes? She explained to me that she takes some time to unfollow people, giving an example of another senior that she had taken months to unfollow him. I was okay, no problem. Before unfollowing, I will unlike the post and unfollow him, she told. I was but unliked only the posts between October and Jan BCZ. She had liked the other 2 posts still. She told she had forgotten to unlike those again. In between this, she had told her roomie about everything. She texted her in between while speaking. She told me that I need to message something to her, and she messaged. I asked about what she told that her ENT postings was canceled, which, not so important. Then I asked her, is it really show? She broke down, saying that she had told her Rami about this, and she just lied to me on the face, and lies after lies. Then I calmed her down, made her feel better, and she was telling Key, you have trust issue on me, and I have trust issue on myself, and don't know how to regain your trust. I was like, it's okay, nothing like that, calm down. What shall I do, guys? I don't have any idea, loudly crying. I thought that condom was the big balloon. I was in 4th grade, we all were playing hide and seek, and I went to hide and I had the habit to pick the things from the ground ad. I got the packet of condom at that time. I didn't know what condom was, so I opened it, and as I pulled the tip, I thought that is the ballon. I called everyone to tell that I got ballon, so I took it and rushed to my home. As I ran to my floor, I saw my cousin. I asked him to blow it for me, and he said yes. As I gave him ballon, he threw it in the ground, and he asked me to tell my parents. So I went home and I asked my parents. My mom asked me to throw it, but I said no. Then my other friend got the same condom which my mother threw, and they took it to their home. Story 24. Friends matter more than I thought? I'm a female, have many interests, and is open to any activity. Would say more attractive than average. I think I have a nice personality and make others laugh. I just don't know why I don't have friends. Nice. I would always make myself busy, like working, going to the gym, watching shows, trying new hobbies. But even with all of these things, I always have this pit of loneliness. I would occasionally cry or just be sad, or a few days, and would eventually get over it. But it always comes back. At school, I would be seen hanging out with various guys, but only in a friend manner. But I think I might give off the impression of a hoe. There are some girls I think I could be good friends with, but I don't know what to say. Everyone already has their own friend group. I had a friend group of 5 females, including myself, but one talked shit about me, one moved schools, one found another group of friends, and I am good friends with one of them, but she always hangs out with her boyfriend. I have made new friends at school, but they're literally ALL guys that walk up to me and are only interested in pursuing me. I don't want to keep experiencing this, but not sure what to do. Story 25. I stalk my ex's boyfriend's new wife from time to time. Every time I see his picture with her, I feel rage not at her but at him. I stalk her to be like, so that's how he's doing now. We were together for 9 years, we dated quite young. We broke up late last year and his reasoning was work. He turned into a different person overnight. I demanded an answer more than work. I even asked him if he doesn't love me anymore and all he said was work. I tried my best to move on without closure. Because I thought I knew him, I believed him that he just wants to climb up. He became an asshole, shut all our communication down, and no news from him, until 5 months later his mom sent me a cryptic text about how I'll always be a part of the family. Then I found out he has a new girlfriend. That was fine, but it was his coworker. Somehow I knew who and what her name was already. He was cheating. All the questions I had in my head was probably all a yes. So I go through another grief cycle, but finally closure for me. Then the next month his family invites me over 2 days before the new year for a fellowship. They asked me if I heard. So I asked, hear what? My ex is engaged now. Oh, but wait, she's 4 months pregnant. In fact, they actually started dating less than 2 months before your breakup. His whole family starts crying, including his mom. I can see the pain in her face. They wanted to tell me first before anyone else. She told me she loves me, but she has to support her son. I understood, but to be honest, my heart didn't hurt when I heard he was engaged. Naturally, it was about to come, nor the pregnancy. It was the disillusionment and the betrayal. How come? I go through another grief cycle. Then on January 1st, he messages me, saying he's sorry for not telling me sooner. He wishes me the best in this new year, thanking me for my kindness and the memories. He appreciates everything I have done for him. But how could he have told me sooner? He blocked me, so instead he messaged me on Facebook. More grief for me. That following Saturday, my friend sends me a video of him getting married already. I have no words. All within 6 months, this man made me go through grief again and again because he couldn't be honest with me. The disillusionment, the retroactive betrayal, and the constant emotional whiplash. Had I knew these information, I would have cussed him out, I would have yelled, but he took that away from me. His little message of absolving himself of any guilt he is feeling because, to be honest, he didn't have to message me. Truly, the worst villain I have ever met. Story 26. I find older women attractive. I started finding older women attractive at a young age, like 14 to 15. It was weird to me at first. BC. I'm a better than mid-attractive guy. I came to terms with it and married an older woman I met in college, 5 years older than I. We are still married and have 2 children. I actually like women much older though. I am 32, and I find women 50 plus to be most attractive. What the hell is wrong with me? I lost my virginity at a party at 15 to a military veteran who was 31, on full disability due to injuries in Afghanistan. Looking back, I realized she was drunk and did it because my aunt, she was my aunt's friend, dared her too while drunk. But now I like women who are grandmas. Help. Please. Story 27. I miss the most toxic person in my life. I used to have a lot of friends go out every weekend, that dream-ish. But I was friends with this girl who was half horrible to me, but terrible to others. She was my best friend for 10 years. We would go out match clothes party to Glother, sneak out a lot of that stuff. She was super controlling though. Whenever I'd try to talk to others, scare them away, harass them, bully them, horrible things. Whenever I talked to a guy, she would bully them away as Smallwell and just be rude. And then she would call me a hoe or future slut for talking to them. I think you get it. She was super controlling, argue with me over the little things as well. I hated all of this, so I secretly made a friend I used to talk to but wasn't that close to. But the problem is, my controlling friend had access to my accounts. She saw all of these, got mad, and she blocked me on everything. But now she took all my other friends with her, and I am alone. I miss her, even though she was so horrible to me. I regret ever trying to meet new people. I miss being her friend, going out and having fun because I was always the shy friend. I can't meet new people without freaking out, being scared. She would be the one to help me meet others but never get to close, obviously. Now, I am just alone. I don't go out anymore. I am scared to join any group things or meet others. I have interests people consider nerdy and weird, so I feel judged. People used to not care about my interests, but ever since I stopped wearing makeup as well, people have just reduced me down to that one girl's weirdo ex-friend. I truly feel as if I was in the wrong. I should NT have ever tried to make other friends, and I just miss her so much. I don't care how horrible she was to me. I feel horrible for my parents as well. They've seen this shift in my personality. I've become more scared of going out as well, and they call me a loser for it. But I am just scared of going out and meeting new people because I was only ever used to her. Story 28. I am more socially anxious and scared of people at 30 than when I was younger. I've always been introverted but open to people. But now, as a 30-year-old man, I have become super reclusive and scared shitless of people. My social anxiety is through the roof, and I loathe and am scared of social interaction, especially with women. I feel like most guys are going to act like douchebags, and women are just an enigma. I haven't really had any meaningful interactions with women outside of my mother. I am on antidepressant medication and look/feel better due to working out for the past 10+ years. But I just don't feel comfortable around people, especially in a neutral environment. If we are just at a grocery store or work where interaction doesn't last long, I am okay, but I am deathly afraid of having to have a one-on-one conversation with a woman or certain types of guys that give off douchebag vibes. Socializing just scares me now. I have never been to a party outside of work, and the work ones are really uncomfortable for me. I don't know if this is normal or not, but people freak me out a lot now. I am hyper afraid of being judged for anything I say, so I don't say anything anymore and have a super stoic blank resting face now. IDK. People just scare me. If I had to go to a party, I just might die. LOL. Story 29. I cannot stand my friends. I, 18M, am a freshman in college. I was desperate for friends when I got here. I was scared. I just found a group and stuck with it. But we're such different people that I cannot stand it. I'm queer. In fairness, I made friends with these people primarily because they're queer. I'm in a deep red state, in a scary political climate, and I thought I might need support about that kind of thing. I don't know, but I swear to God, it feels like it's all they talk about sometimes. It's like we don't have anything else in common. Actually, that's literally the core of the problem. Any conversation I have with them feels so disconnected because we have nothing in common. They're generally prudish. Any kind of sexual joke is absolutely shocking to them. You should have seen their reaction when I told them that I drink on occasion. Absolutely gobsmacked. We go to a party school. Why the actual fuck were they so surprised that I drink sometimes? Seriously. They were in disbelief, and I could tell they were heavily judging me. I've tried to ignore it, but the differences in our personalities became absolutely clear last night when we tried to play a game heavily revolving around our own personal senses of humor. Their jokes weren't funny at all to me. My jokes weren't funny at all to them. I miss my friend group back at home. We used to play the same game and laugh our asses off. Holy shit. Oh my God, it was so unfunny, it was insufferable. Afterwards, they turned on a Minecraft gameplay, the kind of video I might have watched when I was in elementary school. My eyes were glazed over the whole time. This sounds so harsh, but holy shit. They're mostly good people, but I am not compatible at all with them, even the ones I like more than the others. I don't feel like they're college students. They genuinely give the vibes of people I knew in middle school. My hangouts with them feel so infantile and like I'm walking on eggshells. I cannot stand my friends. Story 30. Feeling so lonely in my marriage. Calling all men husbands. I need your point of view on an issue I have. I feel like my husband doesn't put effort into our life as a couple. I completely understand being tired and being financially responsible to take care of the family, but I really am someone who just wants some small efforts of affection. I don't compare my relationship to things I see, but I am just curious if that is normal. For context, I am always planning the dates, if we get one, picking places, cooking, planning all the things, etc. Is it high expectations to want my husband to just plan a date? I seriously would be happy to have a $3 glass of tea somewhere and just be in each other's company. I always planning special things for his birthday and little trips for us when we can do it. He never does that. Is it too much to want to feel like he is putting effort, even with small things? Just to keep the romance going. He puts in effort when he is getting some, but other than that, it's pretty lacking. Then he tells me I have crazy expectations, but part of me thinks there is a man out there who would do all that stuff, and I wouldn't have to ask. I feel like a mom more than a wife a lot of times. I feel so frustrated because I've expressed that I don't feel appreciated and that I just want a little more effort, but I'm still waiting. How long should I wait for some damn romance? Help. Story 31. Tired of keeping my coworker's affair a secret. My female coworker, who used to be my friend, has been having an affair with a male coworker, Initially, she insisted they were just friends and would confide in me, crying about how her husband was spying on her and even putting AirTags in her car. She claimed her husband was jealous of her coworker for no reason. Over time, I realized the truth. Her male coworker constantly showers her with gifts, and they spend a lot of time together at work. She even hides the fact that he buys her lunch from her husband. I ended our friendship when I realized she was using me as an alibi. She would tell her husband she was with me when, in reality, she was spending time with him. Now, we barely speak at work, but I still feel a lot of resentment and hurt because I was used. To make matters worse, I suspect she's been spreading rumors about me. People at work hardly talk to me anymore, and I can't help but think it's because I stopped worshiping her or hanging out at her desk. My female coworker and I had been friends for a long time, even before we started working together. My husband and I would often gather with her and her husband. Now, my son and her daughter are dating. Story 32. I always wanted an eating disorder, and now I have one. TWOFC for discussions of eating disorders, specifically anorexia. I'm a 24-year-old woman in grad school. I've always wanted an ED, a pretty common phenomenon when you actually look into eating disorders. I probably saw them on TV and read about it being romanticized in books when I was younger, and had no supervision on YouTube or Tumblr or a Commons 3, etc. This desire in itself led to some random bouts of disordered eating, but I couldn't even get mad at myself enough to actually feel like I had an ED. I felt guilty for not committing, but also for even thinking that way. Since starting grad school, I have so much to do always. Extremely limited money in the form of cost of living loans, and horrible self-esteem. This is basically exactly what I needed to start actually struggling with eating, I guess. Now, I feel guilty for ever wanting this, but I also feel happy sometimes about it, which makes me feel worse in turn and also act worse. I don't have any family near me. I don't really have friends at all who still live in our college town, since I stayed for grad school, and they were older to begin with. So if I wanted help, I'd really have to work for it, and I'm just not in a place where I want it badly enough, and might never be. I wish I could go back and stop my brain from ever seeing whatever content it was that did this to me, but I'm also pretty content. Besides the guilty feelings, which TBH just make me less hungry anyway. Just needed to vent, maybe. 33. I have been fighting with myself over my fetish for years. I just need somewhere to talk about this, so I'll say it here. For a long time, I have been fighting with self over what I desire or want. I never really talked to anyone about this, thinking I would be banished, abandoned, or even forgotten for this. I am someone who like a lot of things, but this particularly, I always had trouble accepting. I like girls on the heavier side. It is something that I always felt singled out on, and even now, typing all this, I feel just bad for saying it. It has affected my way of thinking for years in many such regards, and I just need advice on what to do and how to handle it. There is more to this, but for now, it's all I'll say. Edit. To not stir any confusion, I am a guy in my 20s. This has been eating at me for years now, and I just want a better understanding so I don't hurt people. Story 34. My Christian family kept a secret of what my cousin did to his half-sister. Only my mom has told us about it. This happened on a family vacation 10 years ago. About 15 people went on this vacation. My cousin, who was around 16 at the time, apparently messed with his younger half-sister, who was probably under 10 at the time. According to my mom, he threatened his sister so she wouldn't tell. For context, the 16-year-old cousin was, and still is, a pretty big dude who plays football. His half-sister was a scrawny kid. Whatever the threat was, I have no doubt it was scary. Soon after they went home, they found out because the half-sister wasn't behaving right. They found out through her what happened. At this point, the older adults of my family knew what happened. I say older adults because I was 19 at this time. Older adults include mom, dad, uncle, and step-aunt, parents of both cousins in this incident, my other uncle and aunt, and my grandmother. My 16-year-old cousin was arrested, and a judge ruled he couldn't be around his half-siblings until they turned 18. He had to live with our grandma while he finished out high school. His stepmom wanted to convince his dad to pretty much abandon him because of what he did. She was furious, because apparently someone did something to her when she was a kid too. Now it happened to her own daughter by her stepson. She also wanted to move to another state. My uncle was in a tough position because what his son had did. He still had to check in and take care of him while he lived at my grandmother's house. This made his wife more mad, and eventually she filed for divorce. She initially kept the house but moved to another state eventually. Keep in mind, while all this is going on, me and my siblings know nothing. We had initially heard to pray for my uncle and step-aunt with no details. Eventually we heard they were getting a divorce. We still didn't know, and this could be months, maybe a year later. My brother finally asked my mom what was going on. She finally filled us in. And honestly, I didn't know how I fully felt at that moment, because all of this took place in the background. I want to add more context, so my family goes to the same church as my uncle and aunt, not to be confused with my uncle and step-aunt of my cousins, who the story is about. I will refer to my aunt and uncle who we attend church with as my immediate aunt and uncle. They are actually the pastor and first lady of our church, Livtace. Later that year, we finally get to see our younger cousins from my uncle and now his former wife, step-aunt. The girl who was messed with obviously wasn't doing well, and she wasn't comfortable. She was refusing to come into church, and she was quite emotional. I think she had a breakdown later that day, which was also Father's Day. I felt strangely like my family was ready for her to get over the incident. She felt awkward in front of us, and probably blamed herself too. I remember feeling bad for her. A year or two later, her older half-brother, the cousin who touched her, came to visit. He was now late teens or early 20s. Miss. I feel weird being around him, especially since he probably doesn't know I know. I also found out my pastor uncle didn't know I knew. I was riding with him in the car talking about that cousin. I asked him if my cousin would have to come back and apologize to his half-sister one day. The tone of the conversation shifted. My uncle said, "Not necessarily," which was odd for me to hear a Christian leader say. Then he asked me an odd question. He said, "How'd you find that out?" It was almost as if I wasn't supposed to know. I told him my mom told me and my brother, and all he said was, It's weird for me also because this particular uncle will lecture you if you do wrong, whether you want to hear it or not." It's weird that we didn't get into a conversation about that incident, especially when he rants about sexual sins in sermons. I've felt more and more awkward over the years now. My one cousin has been allowed to come with us on vacations and feel comfortable. He even got baptized. Meanwhile, when his half-sister has visited, she doesn't seem to feel good. My preacher, uncle, and aunt tried to emphasize that she needs to attend church, but she isn't concerned about that. I don't like this at all. They seem more forgiving of her older half-brother, because I guess he accepted God in his life. What does that mean if you committed a vile sexual sin? And are you seeking redemption for it? By the way, if anyone is confused, just ask me and I'll try to make it clear. I'm a findom, and I don't know how I feel about it. I've been a findom for a little while now, and I've not met any subs that are particularly right for me. I understand it's something that takes time, but I've recently had to block a sub who I believe shows the potential to stalk me in the future. Originally, I started this as a way to make money, like many other girls, but the more I have done it, the more I realized that I really enjoy being a dom and the confidence it has brought me. To settle into my dom persona, I find I have to delve into the immense anger I have towards an ex, and that's what drives my love of dominating weak men. I guess what I'm really saying is, this time last year I had no idea I would find a group of such amazing women who are all so supportive, and a handful of men that are so dedicated to me. Maybe I do love it. I get a lot of judgment from everyone I've mentioned it to. But I think I'm really becoming who I was always meant to me. Story 36. My life, I guess. I don't know if this is a confession or if I just need to get it off my chest, but I am a 30-year-old male who is a virgin, and not just a virgin, but really has done nothing sexually at all except kissing. Really? It's not like I haven't tried, but I'm just not the normal male most people think of, like, hey, let's fuck. I'm not confident. I don't know how to flirt. I can't take a hint. I'm not good at talking. I can't hold a conversation. In other words, how should I expect someone to like me or want to be with me when I don't even like myself? Honestly, it feels like people don't like me. They just deal with me. I've tried dating apps, and we would match. I would send a message of something simple, like, hey, how are you? But get no answer. Or they would send back one-word answers the whole time, or just completely ignore me after the third message. But of course, the asshole that flirts with everyone and cheats on everyone gets whoever they want, but a loser like me can't even get a meaningful hug from someone. Story 37. Having people who care about you when you're hospitalized kinda sucks. As of today, I've been 19 days at the hospital, diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune disease, and trying to recover from an acute outbreak of said disease. Obviously, it's not been an amazing time. Most of it's just been me idling while getting examined by doctors and trying treatments for the outbreak. I had a lumbar puncture that left me with a terrible headache for more than a week, but luckily that's been sorted out now. However, I get messages every day asking how I'm doing, from people who usually text me once a month maybe? And it's not a case of, why do they text me when they usually don't care? I think a monthly checkup is a perfectly reasonable amount of times to catch up under normal circumstances and maintain a good relationship. I'm just so tired of having to reply every day, several times a day. I'm hospitalized. I don't have much to tell aside from I'm fine or today's been boring. It just gets exhausting, and don't even get me started on phone calls. I wish I could have one day just one in which everyone forgot about me. Sorry for any spelling mistakes. Those are related to the outbreak. Story 38. Some older women scare me. I am 24, a new mom. Was at Food Lion in self-checkouts. As I was checking out, a woman who worked there that looked like she was in her mid-50s to 60s worker was staring at me, like very intensely. I wasn't doing anything but checking out, and all I was getting was ribs, chicken juice, soda, breakfast stuff, and container. My son's in the car with his dad, and for some reason, this woman was just staring at me. I wasn't wearing anything inappropriate or just wearing my PJs out because I just came home from cleaning a client's house. I don't want to wear anything too much because all I want to do is come straight to bed once I went home. But she kept staring at me and I'm like wearing a full sleeve PJs with pants and she kept staring at me. I do not understand why she was staring at me, but she was staring at me like I was doing something wrong. Like I was going to steal something. I'm sitting there like, WTF. So I gave her a smile and then I went back to checking out. She called over her manager and they were whispering to each other. And I think they assumed that I was going to steal something, but I was not even wearing something that I could hide anything. And plus, she made me very uncomfortable. Like why would I go to the register that's right in front of her if I was going to steal something? And the whole entire time that I was checking out, she kept staring at me. I saw it in the corner of my eye. It was very obvious. She just kept staring at me. She kept calling people over, whispering to them, and then they look at me. And it's very hard not to see people staring at you if you see them in the corner or on the side of your eye, and you see their face right at you. I've had women in the bathroom when I went to school, like 18-year-old women when I was 14 to 15 years old, overly sexualize my body while I'm just trying to go into the bathroom and they describe what they do to me. The reason I brought that up is because whenever someone even a little bit older than me is staring at me, makes me very uncomfortable because of my past. I don't understand why when all I was doing was just checking out and she was treating me like I was going to commit a crime. I brought it up to my husband and he said that I probably reminded her of someone that probably stole there, but I told him I barely go to the store by myself and I know a few people there and this new woman was just glaring at me like I was going to commit a crime. Before I left the store, I told her have a good day and I just kept smiling and hummed to myself. But inside, I wanted to cry because she just kept glaring at me and getting more people to stare at me. I felt like I was being bullied or being targeted for something I didn't do. I dealt with this when I lived in a bad neighborhood and the neighborhood I live now is in the country. Literally every new mom goes to the store in PJs because they're so overly tired. Story 39. I'm every woman's dream, so I enjoy waking them up. Women have gotten so delusional and broken that they think any rich guy who doesn't try to fuck them is really a nice guy who they can take advantage of. This guy. Women dream about finding a rich man who respects women and thinks that it's his job to protect and care for them because that's what a real man does. Women think I'm that rich nice guy, but I'm not. I'm a rich gay misogynist. It doesn't take long for women to figure out that I'm rich and don't want to fuck them, so they lay out all their woman problems that can only be fixed with money that they don't have. But I do. They try to convince me that they are good people and I'm a good guy. Nope. I quickly tell them that I don't give money to women. And I'm gay. I tell them that I'm gay because they'll try to FUK me for money since they know I purposely don't give money to women. Once they realize that they can't get pity money or suck my dick for money, they move along. Story 40. Accepted a gift and then sold it. Feeling so wrong about this. More than 15 years ago, when I started working in a hospital as a support staffer, a family member of a patient was appreciative of my support and gave me a gift of what I'll describe as several nice beauty products with their staff. When we met initially, it came out in our conversation that this person worked for that beauty company, and I told them I really liked their stuff. They asked which ones I liked, and I mentioned a few I was interested in. Soon, a box arrived with several varieties of the product. Honestly, I was so pleased. I think I told my boss at the time, and nothing was made of it. But after I tried the products, and really didn't like them after all, I sold them. I didn't think too much about this experience until rather recently, when part of our hospital training described the hospital's policy about not accepting gifts in the line of work. So, I went to my boss and told him about the gifts, and I think he said he knew. I think he said that I'd told him before, and he didn't punish me, nor report me, but was just mild and acknowledging. We just had our training again on hospital policy, and the matter really convicts me of how wrong I was. I think I will make a donation of the amount for which I sold the products, and give to our hospital's fund, a fund that helps others. But do you think I should also tell my boss that I sold those gifts? Or is my guilt and making a donation enough? I'm very ashamed of this behavior, and just cringe to think of my younger self being so foolish. Story 41. I don't feel empathy. Now I want to start off with a warning. My English is not the best. It's been around 10 years with no empathy at all, which is strange, because I used to be very empathetic as a child. I've been checked for any neurodivergent traits, and I only have ADHD. I haven't told this to anyone because I don't want to seem like a bad person, and I always pretend to feel bad for people when I really don't. I mean, I do understand why they're feeling the way they do. I just can't make myself feel bad for them or feel what they feel. IDK. I've done questionable things because of it too. Hurt people without feeling bad. I do feel other emotions pretty normally. I don't know, it's been weighing on my mind, and it makes me feel different from others, so I just wanted some sort of outlet for it.